Hey there. In today's tutorial, we're going to be talking about Adobe Premiere. We're going to be taking footage that we shot on our cell phones, putting it onto the computer, adding music, drone footage, editing it up a little bit, and then sending it out to our favorite social media platforms. This is a pretty beginner lesson, so if you're not super familiar with the platform, that's perfectly fine. And we're going to be going through it step by step by step, so feel free to follow along and pause it whenever you need to, and rewind if you didn't get something. All right, let's jump right in. Okay, so here we are in Premiere, our favorite program, Premiere. So let's start off by making a new project, hitting the button, and we're going to call this project Ohms 2 because we've done Ohms 1. Right here is where you put the project. So you change the location, and we're going to put this into the Ohms 2 folder because that makes sense, right? It's in the Ohms 2 folder, Ohms 2. We're going to hit Create. So now Premiere gives us this beautiful blank canvas to start on. So the first thing we need to do is get our footage, and our footage is all on our cell phone. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and plug our cell phone right into the computer, and it pops up on the screen here. So next we're going to open up this internal storage. My footage is located on DCIM inside of camera. And then I'm going to wait for all that to load. Okay, so once that's all loaded, I'm going to hit the modified button, make sure I get all the footage on the 2/8, because that's the day that I recorded it all. And then I'm simply going to open up this Ohms 2 folder and a new window. So I've got it side by side. Then I'm going to make a new folder inside of here, call that footage. Footage, it's a good word, footage. And then I'm going to drag that right into the footage folder. And that's going to copy. And then that's almost done. And once we've got that footage copied, I can close my folder with my cell phone, open up footage, and I'm going to make this as a details view. Going to go ahead and create another new folder, call that video, and create another new folder and call that photo. Now, video editing is a lot about management of your assets. So this right here is managing our video and photo assets, and now they're in these handsome little folders, and I can go ahead and pull this video folder right into Premiere. And I can do that just by grabbing the folder and dragging it into this little bin over here. So I drop that in, and it should pull all my video files in. So there we go. Video files are in. Now I have another folder I'm going to pull in, which on this other Ohms folder, which is the drone footage. I'm going to pull that in as well. And now we're going to jump over to the phone, and I'm going to show you where I get the music from. Okay, so here on my phone, I go over to Instagram, and I'm going to go over the Reels, and I'm going to start listening to the Reels and see what I like here. I like this song. It's kind of nice, but maybe with something else. Yeah, I like this one. This will be a good one. So what I'm going to do is going to head over to the audio section, and then I'm just not going to talk while this records. Okay, so I stopped the recording on my phone, and now I'm plugging the phone back into the computer. Gonna grab the video that I just recorded. So that again is in my DCM folder. This is in my screen recordings folder. And the app I'm using is just the screen recorder inside of my phone. So it's a built-in feature. And I believe, let's go to list these as details, and then our modified date is today, which is 2/14. So I'll take this file, drag it over to my Farm 2 folder, and I rename this to something like music/recording. And I'll put this into the music folder, because I like to keep all this stuff organized. And I'll grab this and drag it in here. So you'll notice that Premiere does not like creating folders if you only have one thing inside of them. So I just made it a folder, drag that in there, so now I've got my music. So if I open this up, I can scroll over to where I listened to this song over here, and this is right about where I started it, right here. Head over to the, and then I'm just not going to records. So I'll back it up to like, right there is about where it starts. I'll hit in. The I is the in point, O is the out point. I'm going to go to the end of the song right here, and hit O for the out point. Now, because I'm going to be making an Instagram reel, and this is the size of an Instagram reel, I'm going to actually just go ahead and pull this audio clip right in here. And as you can see, it creates a vertical video. Now, I want to double check that it's actually making the vertical video size that I want. So what I do is I go over here to Sequence Settings, and it pulls up the frame size and giving me the horizontal and the vertical. So I want a 16:9 frame size, and right now it's 180 by 2316, which I think is the resolution on my phone, but I want it to be 1920. So if I make that 1920 and I go back and look at the sequence size, it's 9 by 16, which is exactly what I want. I look at my other things here. I probably want to make this my time. Oh, this is it right here. My time base, I want to put that at 29.97, and that fixes all this stuff as well. All right, so now we've got our audio down. If we play that back, we can hear it in the background. And now we can start putting our video down. So we're going to start this video off with a drone shot, because I like drone shots, and I took all this footage at the farm, so I might as well use it. So here we go, this sweet sweeping panoramic of a farm. I'm going to use about that much of it. Drop that in here, and all I'm doing is hitting I and O to make these in and out points, grabbing the little video here and dragging it over to the timeline. And as you can see, the video pops up on the timeline. That's great. But it's not really the way I want it to be, because there's these black bars on the top and the bottom, and that's just not going to work for me. So what I do is I click on the video itself here, and I hit over to the effects controls, where it shows me all the different things I can do with the video. Now, it might seem like a lot, but each one of these things is pretty self-explanatory when you get into it. So let's look at the scale here, and the scale is really what we're going to be working with. So if I click on it and I start dragging it up, the video increases in size. Now this is filling the whole bottom and top, which is great. Next, I'm going to move the X and the Y. This is the X and the Y coordinate for position. And if I scrub the X over, I get to see, to the left and to the right. And if I hit the Y, it'll take me up and down, which I don't really need to move the Y, because the Y is already zoomed in pretty good. So if I watch that looks pretty good. I like that part. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to layer another video right on top of this, because it's kind of fun to see another perspective. So I like right here, I'm going to use the mark in point and the mark out point. And again, I'm going to drag the video to my timeline. And this comes in way too long. I don't need all that footage, so I'm going to drag it back to meet the other footage here. So I've got two layers on top of each other, and you can kind of see the way that looks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this top layer, go over to effects controls, and then use the Y coordinate to drop it down a bit. So I'm going to move it to about here, and then I'll take my bottom clip and I'll move that up a little bit so you can see more of it. We can cut off some of those trees. And then if we play it back, we can see that we've got a moving shot on both sides. So let's watch it again. And I'm going to end it right here at this audio. You can see the little audio waveform. I moved it right to there, and I'm going to scrub it so it hits right on there. So it's going to go, and then it's nothing. All right, so next I'm going to pull the next clips in. So I'm going to close my drone folder and open up my video folder. So let's see what we got inside of here. There's a picture of a cow. There's a picture of some guys doing some stuff. All right, this is the opening shot I wanted because it's just like this moving tracking shot that I think will work really good for the start. So I think maybe starting right here, I'm going to hit I on the keyboard, and then maybe to like here. That's good. And then I'll drag that in like that. And so now we have this footage of the kids. And actually I'm going to probably pull this out a little bit longer to maybe like here, and pull this back a little bit. Oh, so like right there. So now we've got this pulling in, and we've got Eric. So what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to cut this clip right here because I want to speed up the first part of this clip. So what I'm going to do is right click on that first part of the clip. So as you can see, I broke it up into two different clips here. I can zoom in a little bit more so we can actually see what we're doing. So this clip that I was 1 is now 2. So I'm going to make sure it's tight up against this, so there's no spaces. And you can see that there's no differences in it. It's just I put a break in the clip so I can do different things with it. So I'm going to right click on this clip here, and I'm going to speed and duration, and I'm going to speed it up a bunch. So I'm going to put it 400% faster. I'm going to move that back over, and now we should have a zoom real fast in to a slower shot. Let's watch it and see. Yep, and that's exactly what I want. So now I'm going to cut over to another shot of a close-up on our subject. So we're here at the farm. We're working with interviews of our farmer, and I want to go from that wide shot to this closer up shot right here. So I'm going to hit an out point so we can grab that point, and if you don't hit an in point, it automatically goes to the beginning of the clip, which is a nice little tip. I'm going to take that video, drag it back down to the timeline, and let's see how it looks now. Now it looks like, because my camera shoots in a higher resolution than where our timeline is in, that it is a little bit too big. So what I can do is go over to scale and knock it down to 50%. Let's see how that looks now. I can actually see who we're working with now. Let's watch that again. Yep. There we go. And you know what I'm thinking is that we probably want to have some cows before we actually see what we're doing here on the farm, because you know cows are the lifeblood of this farm, and we want to see what's happening with them. So let's see if we can find a good cow shot. And this is basically how you do video editing, is you go through each one of your shots and you see which one you can find that you like. And oh, I like this shot. This is a pretty good shot. And he kind of turns his head a little bit, and I like that. That's pretty good. Let's grab that, drag that in over here, and then trim it down so it fits into this little spot. And the cow turns her head. So again, we're going to need to drop this down a little bit in size because it's so big. And now we've got this cow. So we go from this wide open drone shot to this cow, to this zoom in on Eric, and then we zoom. Actually, we don't even need to see so much of that guy's back. We can probably cut right there. And the way I did that was just basically, I find the spot where I want to cut to. I'll back it up for a second. Where I want to cut, and say like I want to start right here. My playhead is right here on the clip, so I know that if I pull it back to this spot right here on the playhead, that it will actually cut. So there's a lot of different ways to cut, and that's just one of the ways I like to cut. So let's watch it again. There's a lot of watching back and watch our cow turn her head. We zoom in on Eric, and now we have got this close-up on him. So we can probably make that go a little bit longer. And now let's see what else we can see. So we've got Eric, we've got the cow. I know there's a robot that I'd like to see here somewhere. There it is. There's the robot. I think this robot just drives around and pushes feed to the cows. So let's go like right there to right there. And I'll pull it back a little bit, and let's see how it looks. Again, because I'm delivering in a smaller sequence, I've got to make it smaller. And it's not moving right there, so I'm going to wait and see when it starts moving. All right, it starts right there. So I'll pull this back to where it starts moving, pull that clip over, and let's see how that looks. Yeah, and maybe make this a little bit longer. And now I'll watch from the beginning. All right, so we can hear how this music kind of ends. So I think we'll be pretty good if we just put in one more shot and we'll be done with this. So there's another drone shot that I want to grab, which I think is the second to the last one. Yeah, this is when I actually flew the, you can see me over here in the corner. I actually fly the drone into the barn, which is pretty fun. Grab that shot and drag that over to here. And of course, we're going to need to mess around with a little bit of the zoom. So actually, I'm going in this time because the drone shoots in a wide-angle format, and we're delivering in vertical, so we got to get rid of those bars. Let's see how this looks. Okay. I like it. Okay, cool. So let's bring that to the end here, and we're going to actually fade this out. And the way I did that is right-click on the end of the clip, apply default transitions, and it adds this little crossfade to the end, or cross dissolve to the end. And you can kind of adjust the cross dissolve, and you can actually add the cross dissolve to the audio as well, so it fades out. Let's see how that sounds. Yeah, I like the way that feels. Okay, so next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little text in here because, you know, text is always a fun thing to add in the beginning of videos. So I'll go over here to this type tool, drag over the video, and it pops up a little graphic right on top of our video. And I'm going to say, welcome to the Ohms farm. I'll select that. I will head over to the Essential Graphics tab, and I'll choose a font that I like, which I think today will be, I'll type something in there, Open Sans. Open Sans is one of my favorite fonts. I use it a lot. Put it in the center, make it a bit bigger. And actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a background to this video, this piece of text, and I'm going to make it black. And I'm going to up the opacity on it so it covers the whole thing. And I'm also going to expand the border of it a bit so it covers all the text. And then I think we're close. Let's take a look. Yep, I'm going to put that over this little break in the video. So we've got the Ohms farm, and it's not quite large enough yet, so I'm going to continue to expand the border out a bit until it covers the whole frame. All right, cool. So now we've got this little ohms thing. I'm going to the text there. I'm going to bring it back so it fits right on that drone clip, zoom in a bit more, right click on that beginning of it, right click on the end, bring back the cross dissolves a little bit more so that we've got plenty of room. And now we've got the Ohms Farm text coming up. Welcome to the Ohms Farm. And it should fade out. Perfect. All right, we're nearly there. So the last thing we're going to do is we're going to add some real basic color correction. And this is just like some fast and dirty color correction, but it really adds a lot to the video. You might think, why do I need to do color correction? I'll show you. All right, so real quickly, we're going to jump over to this first clip. And as you can see, this clip is this bottom clip right here. And I'm going to jump into the Lumetri color, which is right here, Lumetri color. If you don't see it, you can always go to Window, Lumetri color. And all you do is pump up your saturation a little bit, maybe pull up your exposure a bit, contrast up, highlights up a bit, shadows down, whites up, blacks down. And you can see the difference. So that bottom clip actually, let's zoom in a bit. We can look at the colors real closely. That's maybe a little bit too much. So here's that clip. Here's with the effects off, and here's with it on. And we can actually maybe boost this up a little bit more, maybe pull the saturation down a bit more, and our contrast up, our highlights up, our shadows down. Yeah, so we're getting there. And now if I turn it back off, you can see the difference. You see like what that color correction does. It really brings out a lot of the color. And that's just like a 5-second, color correction. And you can really tell the difference between these two clips now. So a really quick way to apply the same kind of color correction to all your clips, and this is not the way I really recommend it, but it's a way you can really add color correction quickly, is you go ahead, right click on the clip, you copy it, and you then select all the other clips that don't have the color correction on it. And if I accidentally select that other one, I hold down Shift, and I'll click that one to make it unselected. And now I just simply right click, paste attributes. I make sure Lumetri color is the only thing that's selected inside of effects, and I hit OK. Now you can see that it applies that high saturation shadows and highlights to all the clips. Now if I scroll through, I'm just going to look and make sure I like the way it looks. This clip actually is very, very red. So if I just click on that clip, I can go in here, pull the saturation down, maybe bring the temperature back towards the bluish side a little bit. Maybe I will bring down the saturation even more. It's getting better. I think it was filmed, it was pretty red, so that's actually going to fit in nicely now. Much better. And this one actually has a little bit more red too, so I'll bring that one towards the lighter part of the spectrum and bring down the saturation a bit more. So that actually looks a lot better now. And so there's our clip, and this one maybe I can do the same thing with as well. Here's the beginning, here's the before and after, and you can really tell the difference with what color correction does. It's a very nice effect. Anyway, that's about it on the editing. The last thing we're going to do is make sure you save, and then we're going to export this file. And I just go up here to the Export tab. Because we're exporting a vertical video, and this is not a horizontal video, and Premiere will automatically offer us this export with the bars on the sides, which we don't really want. So what we will do is jump into the video here and hit this button, this video tab, and hit this button, Match Source. And what Match Source will do is it will fit the video frame to the actual video on the timeline, which is very convenient, and we don't really even have to mess with any of the other settings. I usually like to export in H.264 because it's a really small, tight package and doesn't really lose a lot of quality. And if I really want to go a little crazy, I will jump into the video more section, render at maximum depth, and use maximum render quality. And the video file is only 40 megabytes, and it's about a 15-second video. So for these short videos, I often will just export them out through Premiere instead of sending it to Media Encoder. And we could do a whole nother video on Media Encoder and how to use that, but leave it to say that this video is just going to be fine at this 15 seconds, just use the Premiere. I will also change this to Farm 1. And it's not going to the Farm folder. And usually when I export out these different drafts, I like to make a new folder and I call them drafts, because oftentimes there's multiple drafts, especially when you're working with a client, and keeping everything safe and in its folder really makes life a lot easier, especially when you're working with large amounts of video clips and large amounts of files. And all right, it's all exported, so we can jump back over to our folder 2, go into our drafts folder, and there's our file. Awesome. So there you have it. That was Premiere Pro, taking footage in, editing it a bit, and making it ready to go to social media. If you liked this video, if you found value from this video, please smash that like button, hit the subscribe button for more videos, and let me know about things that you're interested in learning and topics that we can cover. Thanks again, and thanks for watching.